So in this lesson, we're going to go ahead and pin everything to the mesh here, and this is going to be done through MelScript. I'll be including this MelScript. It's a script that I didn't write. I downloaded it off creativecrash.com, so it's available free, and it's just the LK pin mesh script, where you just select two edges and run the script, and then you'll get a locator as you see there, and then I'll pin everything that I need to pin to that locator, and I'm making sure that I actually rename what I need to rename, or having a naming convention on each of those locators. This is just so that I can actually know what's being pinned to where. It's definitely more for organization rather than you want to have a bunch of stuff just everywhere unnamed. You want to make sure you have things named properly, and this way it's just going to be easier to be organized. And as you can see, I'm going to be, pinning the eyes to the mesh here too. This just takes a little bit of time to get all the pin mesh locators set up properly. And then I'll just pin everything else to the mesh. Or I'm sorry, parent those pieces to the locators. And it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of a little bit of patience to get everything moving properly and placed correctly. So definitely have to separate these because I can't pin them as one. They have to be pinned on each side here. And I'm making sure I clear the history off of them and freeze the transformations. Since they aren't skinned, it doesn't really matter. They're just being parented to a locator, so they can be separated like that. And it's just naming convention here that's proper, so we'll go ahead and move them back, and then we'll go ahead and parent it to the locator. And they're supposed to be thimbles. They are a little bit high in terms of resolution, but that's okay. As you can see there, it actually allows us to move what needs to be moved here. And I need to go ahead and parent this one to the locator. And then as you can see, the thimbles will move with the rig. Definitely need to go ahead and parent all the pins here. The stitches will definitely be the hard part because there's just so many of them, and getting them to be parented correctly to the mesh is just going to take a little bit of extra time. There you go. You can see that the pin on the leg there is going to move properly. And I'm just moving that out of the way so I can go ahead and make the pin mesh for the heart and the pin through the heart. And I'll just move it back into place and parent it to that locator. And there you go. I mean, for the most part, we got everything pinned to the mesh. We just need to go ahead and pin these stitches, and this is where it's going to take just a little bit of extra time here, because I need to pick the right edges and get them parented correctly. I'll probably do each one individually, but I could probably get away with doing, just a few locators and pin meshes and then parent them. Though the more accurate it is, the better the end result will actually be. And it just takes a little bit of time. You make your pin mesh locators, and then you just basically parent it to the locator. So it just takes time. I'm definitely selecting, always trying to select one vertical and one horizontal edge to go ahead and make our pin mesh locator. You don't want to try not to do two vertical or two horizontal edges. This way, if you select one vertical and one horizontal, it's going to make that locator right at the vert, or as close to the vert that you can possibly get for it to be pin meshed. So it's just easier that way, rather than having it as two horizontal or two vertical edges, because then the locator just doesn't get placed properly. It sort of gets a little weird. At least that's what I've found by using this pin mesh script. And I'll just keep moving along to go ahead and make the rest of our, pin meshes, so I can get everything else, pinned to the mesh. And I'll just go silent here as you watch me make the rest of these locators for the stitches here. It's okay to do, just a few of these. I would say maybe, I can't really give you a specific number to do. You definitely don't want to be doing 1,000 of them. If you're pinning 1,000 stitches to a mesh, you might want to look for a better solution. But for this is fine, because there aren't that many of them. There's probably 20 in total, maybe 22 in total. But like I said, if you're doing 1,000 of them, you're probably going to want to look for a better solution, because that would take an excessively long time to, pin all those to a mesh. And this is just basically a rivet script that I downloaded off creativecrash.com. But I'll be including it in the package here, in the tutorial, and as you can see, something went wrong there. And that just means that it's Yeah, I have to use a different naming convention to go ahead and pin these to the mesh. I'll just parent that one to that one and basically just try to save myself some space here. And as you can see, I'm having a little bit of issue with the pin mesh script here, so there we go. It's gonna be working now. I think it's just because we're having too many of these being pinned to the mesh at one time. So I'll just take out the naming convention and do it that way. And there we have all of our locators made, so now just go ahead and parent the rest of these to those locators and we'll have that ready to go. And there we go. We got pretty much everything, parented to the mesh. Just have to do these last little ones here. Just checking to make sure that they're going to move properly now. And that all looks, pretty good to me. And then we'll move on to the next lesson.